Hi, I'm Sam Horn, and welcome to What Is Your Pregame, a show full of flavor and with a little twist. We're going to bring you up close and personal with some of your favorite CEOs, celebrities, and athletes to find out who has the high-performance recipe for success. So sit back and relax and enjoy Season 2 of What Is Your Pregame?
You know, it is nice to be part of a historic family, I guess, most of the time. Sometimes it can put a little pressure on you.
It just seemed appropriate to have an Austrian-style beer hall attached to the brewery.
And he said, "You know what day it is, don't you?" And we said, "No."
Hi, I'm Sam Horn, and welcome to What Is Your Pregame? And on today's show, we're going on a road trip to Stowe, Vermont, and visit one of the most well-known families in the area, the Von Trapps. We'll also talk to Sam Von Trapp about how his work week plays out, his family legacy, and being known for more than just the sound of music. We'll talk to him about his hobby and how he prepares as we take a tour around the property and visit the Von Trapp Brewery and Beer Hall. We also stopped by Friarstown, and although March Madness is behind us, last year we talked to a couple of players about their pregame. And later we have this week's call to the show. So sit back and relax as we bring you What Is Your Pregame? All right, welcome back to What Is Your Pregame? I'm hanging out today with Sam Von Trapp of the Trapp family. How you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for joining me here.
All right, this is like heaven up here in Vermont. So how long have you guys been up here?
So my family settled here in 1942. They came over from Austria in 1938 and originally lived outside of Philadelphia. The summers there were pretty hot and humid, very different than what they were used to in Austria, and then they discovered Vermont, and this has been home base ever since.
Well, of course your family's also known for the sound of music, but movies really don't do justice to a story. Why don't you tell us the real story?
So the skeleton of the story was accurate. My grandmother did leave the Nürnberg Abbey, went to live with the Von Trapp family, where my grandfather, the Baron, was a highly celebrated Austrian naval war hero. She did end up becoming sort of a second mother to the 7 children. But there were some changes. They actually were married 11 years before they left Austria. They had 2 daughters already while they were in Austria, and my grandmother Maria was pregnant with my father when they left. He was born shortly after they arrived in the US. And most importantly to my family really is that my grandfather wasn't that sort of stern, distant father figure that was portrayed in the movie. So he was actually very involved with the kids' lives and was a very caring father.
All right, it must be nice to be a part of a historic family. Tell us about your journey and where you've been over the last few years.
You know, it is nice to be part of a historic family, I guess, most of the time. Sometimes it can make you a little self-conscious or put a little pressure on you when your family movie is rated G. A lot of expectations for perfect behavior, which of course I have always been perfect my whole life. But I got out of college, grew up working here, got out of college, loved skiing, was working in the ski industry, continued to teach skiing here in Vermont, down in South America, in Portillo, Chile, and in Aspen, Colorado. Was doing 2 winters every year between the northern and southern hemisphere. Found that I had time off in between those seasons, started doing more and more surfing, absolutely loved it, and basically used skiing to pay for my surfing.
So Sam, tell me about surfing. You can be in the water up to 6 hours. What's your pregame for something like that?
Well, you need a lot of calories, but you spend most of that time horizontal laying on your surfboard. So if you eat anything too heavy right beforehand, you may taste it again later. So a little bit lighter right before going in the water. Tend to eat a lot the night before, a lot at the end of that day, and lots of snacks if you're coming out. You know, often it's 6 hours, but it might be sort of 3 2-hour sessions through the day.
Largest wave?
Largest wave was maybe about 20-foot face.
Scary?
I was scared, yes.
For me, of course, I'm not going to be in the water, but when you're scared, when you're having a moment like that, where do you take your mind?
You know, you got to stay relaxed. The biggest challenge I've learned in surfing is that if I tense up, I'm likely to just fall off the board. So a lot of visualization before I go out to remind myself, you know, I can do this, and don't get overly worked up. Just relax, enjoy the ride, and stay loose.
Well, our show is about what is your pregame, and I know you're a big surfer, skier, and a businessman. Tell us, what is your pregame nowadays?
So for me, I eat breakfast probably 6 days a week here in the hotel.
What type of breakfast?
Fruit is the big thing to start with.
This is great
You got to have
looking.
the protein. We can't survive without protein, but this is what keeps me healthy when I'm putting in 15-hour days at times. And it's also nice that I get to sit with my dad at breakfast. So we kind of have our check-in and catch up on things. But lots of nice protein, eggs from our own chickens that we raise right here on the property. And that way, if I get busy and I miss lunch, I'm okay. I don't fall over.
Well, here on your property, you guys serve everything fresh, from the produce to the meats. How important is that to what you guys are really about here, and how do you instill that into the culture that's around here?
You know, you gotta stay healthy in all areas, and staying physically healthy helps you to stay more mentally healthy. So Vermont has a really vibrant local food movement. My family was farming here back in the 1940s, and it was really convenient for us when the local food movement took off nationally and throughout the world, really.
We went into the woods, but you didn't take us deep into the woods. You said there was a hidden gem there. What is that?
Now, we are a 116-year-old fourth-generation family-held construction management firm, of which I represent the fourth generation. In addition to our work at Fenway, we work for all of the fine institutions across the city, from Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's to Boston University to Boston College, and even across the river at MIT. But with these clients comes very, very high expectations on their projects. So I can say, representing the fourth generation at Walsh Brothers, we build to perfection.
JP Fuji Group is the largest operating Pan-Asian restaurant group in the Metro Boston area, with 10 varying concepts including fine dining and fast casual atmospheres. Guests of any JP Fuji Group establishment can always expect the highest quality ingredients, innovative menus, and superior customer service.
I want to give them a present. I want to give them a gift, and I love doing what I do. Nothing beats that feeling of give people something. I hope they can taste the love that I put on every single dish.
Hi, I'm Sam Horn, and I'm here to tell you about a great new cutting-edge technology that utilizes 15 years of research done by Lavoie Industries. Their team has developed a military-grade optical sensor used by firefighters, police, and other safety officers dedicated to saving lives. This device helps to navigate through burning buildings quickly, accurately, and most of all, safely. Smoke Eye, a vision that saves lives. Looking for one of the best steakhouses in Boston? A place to mingle and socialize. Hang out before and after the game? Well, Del Fresco's is the place to be. Award-winning wines, great spirits, fresh seafood, and the home of the Double Eagle steak. When you're looking to outlast your opponent, it all starts with your pregame. Del Fresco's Steakhouse, for when you want to be on top of your game. Kapow!
I'm Sam Von Trapp. When I hang out at the Trapp Family Lodge here in Stowe, Vermont, I'm with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Welcome back to the show. We're still here at the Trapp Family Lodge. A little Austria, a lot of Vermont. There's a few hidden secrets on this land. Let's discover one of the historic landmarks. Welcome back. We're hanging out with Sam Von Trapp of the Trapp family. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
So how many hours do you put in a day up here at the lodge?
Yesterday was 15, but most of it was fun.
So when you're here hanging out, what type of activities or hobbies do you have?
So cross-country skiing is our big sport here at the Trapp Family Lodge. My dad actually started the first full-service cross-country ski touring center anywhere in the Americas 50 years ago. Going to be celebrating that this year. So cross-country skiing is my big thing. Mountain biking, still do a bit of downhill skiing, sneak off for some surfing when I can. But oftentimes I get my pleasure by going out in the woods and trying to help with the trail work. So I'll grab a handsaw, an axe, a pole saw, and most of my exercise comes just from doing trail work.
Well, yesterday we went into the woods, but you didn't take us deep into the woods. You said there was a hidden gem there. What is that?
So there's a beautiful chapel out here that was built by my uncle, and what I'd like to do is take you out there and show you the story.
Why don't you?
All right, let's go.
We said we were coming to the woods. There was a special thing here, a chapel. What is this all about?
So my Uncle Werner built this chapel after World War II, and part of the really interesting story that The Sound of Music doesn't tell is that the two boys who were portrayed in the movie as Friedrich and Kurt, after they came to the US, their real names were Rupert and Werner. After they came to the US, they were drafted into the US military. They volunteered to go into the 10th Mountain Division, which were our mountain troops trained in skiing and climbing techniques. They fought in the north of Italy and up into Austria, and they faced some very serious resistance. They took some heavy artillery poundings, and at one point my Uncle Werner said a prayer. He said, if I make it out of this alive, I will build a stone chapel and dedicate it to Our Lady of Peace. And he followed through on that promise.
Down the hill, right across the lodge, you're treated to some beautiful views and some furry friends. Doesn't get any fresher than this, huh?
Yeah, so apples that fell off of our trees, feeding them out to some of our cattle here, our Scotch Highland and Devon cattle. This one here is particularly friendly. Try not to get bitten, but their teeth aren't too sharp.
So how much are they weighing in nowadays?
So that big guy, our bull there, I would think is close to a ton. Some of our calves just born this year are already pushing 400, 500 pounds. And these are some, let's see, these would be some of our yearlings right here. So these are last year's calves. They've gotten pretty big. So they get a really good life here on the property, and they got a beautiful view. Music, fireworks, they get to enjoy the fireworks from the weddings that we have here.
How many cattle do you have here on the property?
So we've got about 65 head in the herd right now.
And you go through how many a year?
So we harvested 17 in the past year.
And you're trying to get to our herd?
Want to work to where we're harvesting at least 20 per year. We had 24 calves born this year, our best calf crop ever, so it's going well.
All right, if you come to the Von Trapp Lodge, you can guarantee it doesn't get any fresher than this. We'll be right back after these messages.
I'm Sam Von Trapp here at the Trapp Family Lodge. You too can come here and enjoy a little bit of Austria and a lot of Vermont. You're watching What Is Your Pregame?
Or before that, I usually get a prayer in before every game. I always pray before every game. And I put on my headphones, kind of get in the zone, log out a little bit, and then, I go on the court, get some shots up.
Dadgar Insurance is a 30-year-old insurance agency with kangaroo being our symbol of protection. I am the big kangaroo protecting my clients in my pouch. We specialize in insuring real estate and restaurant risks, and we don't discriminate about the size. Whether it's a two-family in Somerville or a Chinese takeout in Chelsea, or 1,000-unit apartment buildings or a chain of restaurants. At Dadgar, we insure it all.
Hi, I'm Sam Horn, and welcome to What Is Your Pregame, a new show full of flavor and with a little twist.
When I'm in Boston, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
We'll bring you up close and personal with some of your favorite CEOs, celebrities, and athletes to find out their pregame. We will take you behind the scenes at some of your favorite restaurants to find the best high-performance recipes. Hang out in the dugout as we talk pregame prep with some of the game's best players and coaches. All this and much more on What is Your Pregame? You're watching What is Your Pregame? We'll be right back after this. Looking for one of the best steakhouses in Boston? A place to mingle and socialize. Hang out before and after the game? Well, Del Fresco's is the place to be. Award-winning wines, great spirits, fresh seafood, and the home of the Double Eagle steak. When you're looking to outlast your opponent, it all starts with your pregame. Del Fresco Steakhouse, for when you want to be on top of your game.
Hi, my name is Ed Cooley. I'm the head coach of the Providence College Friars. Whenever I'm in Friartown, I hang out with my main man, Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Before March Madness, we stopped by practice in Friartown. We had a chance to talk to some players. Let's hit the court. All right, welcome back to What is Your Pregame? I'm Sam Horn, hanging out with Jalen Lindsey. How you doing, big man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, big game coming up soon. Tell us, what is your pregame?
All right, man. My pregame is, I put on my headphones. Before that, I usually get a prayer in before every game. I always pray before every game. And I put on my headphones, kind of get in the zone, log out a little bit, and then, I go on the court, get some shots up.
Is this something that you always do alone, or do you have a group of people you do this with?
It's in the locker room, so there's people around, but I sit in my seat in my locker, and I kind of sit there, I pray first, put my headphones on, put my head down, and kind of vibe to the song I'm listening to.
What kind of songs do you listen to? What's your type of music?
Man, usually before games, just kind of hype songs like Drake, Meek Mill, guys like that, Future, so it just kind of gets my, my blood going.
Tell us, what year are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
All right, you got any superstitions about this game?
No superstition, but I usually call my parents before the game, and they give me some words of wisdom, and we pray together, and then I put on my headphones and dial in.
Okay, when you're dialing in, what kind of music are you listening to?
A couple of variety, but some Meek Mill, some A Boogie, some not too crazy.
All right, tell us what would a pregame meal look like for you, and when would you eat that?
It depends on the time of the game. If we got a late game, we probably eat dinner around 5. Consists of some pasta, chicken, salmon, and stuff like that.
Last question, tell us, pressure situation, especially in basketball, how do you deal with the pressure? Where do you take yourself?
Having a year under my belt is really good because pressure situations, they don't really faze me anymore going into my sophomore year.
Pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the game. How do you deal with the pressure?
Man, I just think back to, the practices we have. We practice every day. So we practice for those situations in games. So I think back to those practices and what coach tells us to do, and I kind of play my role. And from there, that's how I handle the pressure.
What is your role on the team?
To shoot.
Shoot, I like it.
Right.
All right, so when you're shooting up to Providence, hang out with Jalen Lindsey.
I'm Jalen Lindsey. When I'm in Providence, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
All right, we're back in Vermont. Let's kick it over to Victoria for the main ingredient.
Here we are in the beer hall. I'm here with Johannes and Sam. Johannes, tell us, how did the beer hall come to pass?
Well, that's a long story, but the short story is we're brewing this wonderful beer, and it just seemed appropriate to have an Austrian-style beer hall attached to the brewery. So we have a restaurant here, and it's become very popular.
You have a family-owned business, started in Austria. Your family started in Austria, came to Stowe, settled in Stowe, developed a business. It is now third generation. What is that key element that has made your family business successful?
I think one reason for our success is that, as you know, my family was performing on stage. We were entertainers. And it's only a small transition from entertaining on the stage to entertaining hospitably in a hotel. So we brought the Austrian culture of Gemütlichkeit, which means coziness, but in a very nice way, coziness, to our lodge. And the public responded warmly to that. And we've tried to hold on to that even as we've grown. But I think that's really the key element.
And tell me, I hear you can sing.
I used to sing. I'm a retired musician.
A retired musician. And I hear that Sam can sing as well.
We sing with our guests on Christmas Eve every year, but I do not do any solos.
One other question for you, Sam. What is that main element of the beer that makes you above the rest that we were talking about?
You know, I think the single distinguishing characteristic of the quality of our beer is the water. We have an amazing top-of-the-line brew house. We've got an unbelievably knowledgeable team. But the water is something that is unique, and you've got to be located in the right spot to have that. We've got the perfect mineral profile that we need, and it's beautiful that it just flows into our brewery under gravity.
Well, thank you very much for telling us a little bit about the beer hall. One other question though. You have a logo that's very unique. Tell us about the logo. How did that get developed?
The ibex is a very typical alpine animal that lives above the rest, high up in the mountains.
Oh.
So I like to think that our beer is perhaps above the rest, and it has an Austrian heritage, so the ibex seemed like an appropriate beast to have as an icon.
As an icon. Thank you, Johannes. Thank you, Sam. If you want to experience that coziness and that beer above the rest, come on up to the Von Trapp Brew House here in Stowe, Vermont. You're watching The Main Ingredient.
And he said, "You know what day it is, don't you?" And we said, "No, it's the day we got sent down." "No, what are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, it's April Fool's Day. You guys are coming to the big club, so."
Now, we are a 116-year-old, fourth-generation, family-held construction management firm, of which I represent the fourth generation. In addition to our work at Fenway, we work for all of the fine institutions across the city, from Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's to Boston University to Boston College, and even across the river at MIT. But with these clients comes very, very high expectations on their projects. So I can say, representing the fourth generation at Walsh Brothers, we build to perfection.
JP Fuji Group is the largest operating Pan-Asian restaurant group in the Metro Boston area, with 10 varying concepts including fine dining and fast casual atmospheres. Guests of any JP Fuji Group establishment can always expect the highest quality ingredients, innovative menus, and superior customer service.
I want to give them a present. I want to give them a gift. And I love doing what I do. Nothing beats that feeling of give people something. I hope they can taste the love that I put on every single dish.
We are fortunate in Boston to have a thriving economy with premier companies in the medical, IT, and hospitality industries. Couple this with the next generation of entrepreneur businesses.
At Dodgar, we've insured real estate risks for the past 30 years. Oftentimes, we get involved from the very beginning, the built-out phase of the project, all the way to the finish line. The finished product could be an apartment building, a building that houses restaurants, office building, or building with many different tenancies.
When you think insurance, think Dodgar.
At Dodger, we do it all.
I'm Alfred Diallo. When I'm in Providence, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Hey, yeah, I gotta go. All right. Hey, welcome back to What is Your Pregame? Up next, we ask players, where were you when you got the call to the show? I gotta take this.
When I'm in Boston, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Well, we have a segment, the call to the show. Do you remember who called you and where were you?
Yeah, I was with the Detroit Tigers, and Jim Leland was our manager, and he called myself and another young guy, Ryan Perry, right-handed relief pitcher, into the office. It was like the second to last day of spring training, and it was actually April Fool's Day, so he called us in. Yeah,
oh,
so
I wouldn't believe that.
we both had really good springs, but you know, I was 20 years old. I think Ryan was 21 or 22 at the time, and we kind of had in our heads that we were going back down to the minors, going to Double A or wherever, and he called us both in and said, you know, you guys had a hell of a spring and couldn't ask any more for you. We just asked that you go down to, you know, the minor leagues and, you know, keep doing what you've been doing all spring. And we were like, all right, well, kind of put our heads down and said, this is it. And he said, you know what day it is, don't you? And we said, no, it's the day we got sent down. No, what are you talking about? I said, oh, it's April Fool's Day. You guys are coming to the big club. So that was an awesome moment. I'll never forget it.
Hi, I'm Victoria Conti, and I'm here for the Fan of the Week. They're taking the bases at Fenway, and we're out on the streets filming, looking for the next fan with a great pregame story. So come on over before the game and tell us, what is your pregame recipe for success? Can't get there? That's okay too. Send in a video with your pregame ritual to fan@whatisyourpregame.com or upload it to Instagram or Twitter and use the hashtag WYPG. Don't forget to add your contact information, and you too may be featured as our Fan of the Week. Back to you, Sam.
All right, thanks, Victoria. That's our time for today. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Del Fresco Steakhouse, Walsh Brothers Construction, Daggar Insurance. We'd also like to say thanks to Sam Von Trapp, the boys from Friarstown, and Rick Parcello. We'd like to say a special thanks to you, the viewers, for watching our show. We have a full season ahead. Make sure you tune in and watch What is Your Pregame. I'm your host, Sam Horn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Welcome back to What is Your Pregame. We're hanging out with Sam
Come on up to Van Trapp Brewery.
Von Trapp.
Why did I do that? I never do that.
Sam's fault.
Come on up to Van Trapp Brewhouse.
Von Trapp.
Did I do it again?
Sorry.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
Come on up to the Van Trapp. Van, I did it again. All right.
You need a beer.
I need a beer.
Yes.
I need a beer.